Welcome to Stretford, Paddock. This is the preview for Manchester United versus Aston Villa in the League Cup. The League Cup of all places.
Yeah.
Do you like the League Cup?
I've fond memories of the League Cup. My first proper sort of memory of going to Old Trafford was in what was known as the Rumbelows Cup. Showed me age there in about 1990 against the Scousers. Won 3-1. Mark Hughes scored a worldie.
Yep.
So very fond of that. My first final at Wembley was the League Cup in 94. We lost that one.
See?
So, you know, a bit of a mixed bag. But I've seen us win the League Cup at Wembley. I've had many good games, or so many good games, obviously, for United in the League Cup as well. The Arsenal one where we had the Silver Twins on the wings was one that stands out.
Good.
That was all right, wasn't it?
I think, was Ronaldo playing that game?
I can't remember.
If he was,
yeah,
then that's a great segue into our first point today. Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United's main number 9.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on here, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like, talk to me about this. He's not scoring goals.
No.
It looks like he don't want to be here. It seemed like he didn't want to be here in the summer. Ten Hag doesn't seem to rate him, but he has to play him because of the injuries. What is going on with our number 9?
I think a big part of it is his age. He's at that age now where you look in and you go, is this the end? Because, you know, we've discussed this many times at various different podcasts. You know, strikers don't usually play past 33 at the top level. That's usually it. You get the odd one or two who can go into the mid-30s. You know, Cavani obviously did to a certain degree. But everyone goes, oh, Zlatan, look at Zlatan. But Zlatan's a one-off.
And he had to have a year of rehab in the MLS as well.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
And also, he's a much more sort of physical type of player, which he's 6'4" or whatever he is, or 6'5". He can rely on his strength, and he's not lost that in his height. Whereas Ronaldo, you know, he's still to a certain degree does rely a little bit on his pace. I know he's not the quickest anymore, but he still relies on him being able to get that yard.
Never relied on his pace,
never.
did he?
And Ronnie, to a certain degree, relies on getting in those positions ahead of the defenders, getting that little yard away from a defender to get his shot off, whatever. And it's just not happening for him.
No.
Now, it might be one of those things where he bounces back, and it isn't the end of him. It's just a blip. But it doesn't feel like that. I can't recall seeing Cristiano Ronaldo ever play as badly as often as he has done recently.
I can't recall him ever playing as badly.
I mean,
even as a 17-year-old.
When he came to United, there was an element of, you know, one-trick pony, one step over too many and all that.
Yeah.
But we still saw something that was special.
Yeah.
At the minute, he just looks like he's lost it, really. He's sort of this. It's sad to see. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope he bounces back. I hope he bounces back against Villa because we own one, don't we?
Yeah, well, wow, look at that. Speaking of owning one, revenge is on the cards. They beat us not 4 days ago, Jay. Did Aston Villa turn us over at Villa Park? Obviously, this is at Old Trafford.
Yes.
Which I think United haven't conceded a goal at Old Trafford in about 4 games, something like that. United's record at Old Trafford has been very good this season.
Yep.
Something that Ten Hag made a big point of, didn't he? Do you think that's going to play a difference? Because to me, that game against Villa, United didn't deserve to win. They were, you know, it wasn't like Newcastle or Chelsea where we dropped points, but we're probably the better team.
Yeah.
Even the Sociedad game in the Europa League that we lost, I thought, on balance, we're probably the better team. Villa were better than Man United the other day. They made better chances. They made more chances. It's just a really bad day at the office, wasn't it?
It was, and it was a bad day at the office after the 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it was when they got those 2 quick goals. Yeah. I don't expect that to happen at Old Trafford. I think the crowd will make a difference. The atmosphere this season has been good. The amount of crowds has been good. You know, I went to the Europa League game a few weeks ago and I thought, was it the Sheriff game? I thought it was going to be half empty, and it wasn't.
No.
There's quite a lot there, and everyone's up for it. And it's what you want to see. You know, Ten Hag's done a bit of a rallying call. I think the atmosphere at Old Trafford at times does deserve to get a stick, and at times has to be actually decent and gets undue criticism.
Yeah.
But this season I've been impressed, and I think the crowd's up for it. We pick a strong team, then we should have too much for Aston Villa, and hopefully the fact that, you know, one positive from getting beat by them lot last weekend is it reminds you that you can't take anything for granted, and we can't go into this game thinking, oh, we'll just turn up, we'll win.
You'd hope this would give United a kick up the arse, wouldn't you? Because if that doesn't, then, you know, we've got 1 game left after this before the World Cup.
It's not. It's the trophies for me.
Yeah.
You don't want to take the possibility of winning a trophy off the table. Especially not when you've got to get past Barcelona to win the other one, and we ain't going to win the league. No. So that's going to leave you, you know, Barcelona or the FA Cup. Yeah. So keep this on the table. It's a winnable game, so just go out there and win it.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's move on to our predicted 11. Get your predicted 11s in the comments. Who is Ten Hag going to play? There was some discussion before the last Villa game that he might rest a lot of first-team players for this one. But having lost that game, not wanting that sort of, you know, poor kind of stuttering end to this first portion of the season, Do you expect him to play a strong 11?
Yeah, well, we can have a look at show you my team now. Get into it. I've brought in Martin Dubravka. I just think, is he ever going to play? Sooner or later, he's got to make an appearance for Manchester United, and this is the earliest round in the League Cup. Is probably his best opportunity because I don't see him starting against Barcelona, and it depends on who you get in the FA Cup whether you can risk it or not. So I've gone with him. Obviously, the back four, you could argue that Lindelof...
first strength, pretty much back four.
Yeah, you might argue that Lindelof should be in over Maguire. I just wonder whether he might just give Maguire a nod, not just because he's better, or he thinks he's better, but to give him a little bit of game time. I got it wrong on the last one. I think I picked Maguire, but I'm still going to stick with him. Casemiro, Fernandes and Eriksen speaks for itself. Fernandes obviously missed the game at Villa Park. He'll be back in the team and chomping at the bit. I've gone with Rashford on the left. I don't like him on the right. I think he's just toothless.
Yeah.
Put him on the left, Ronaldo down the middle and Elanga on the right, because I'm still wondering whether Andy Martial is fit to start, or whether he's also looking at the Fulham game and going, if I start him against Villa, I can't start him against Fulham.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start him against Fulham in the league. So that's why I've gone with that team.
That's a very strong team. That is pretty much United's strongest possible team, given those injuries and stuff that you've mentioned to Varane and Martial there.
Yeah.
It's really only Dubravka that you could say is a kind of rotational piece. Elanga as well, maybe.
Elanga, you could have done a bit of switching around.
But again, there's no obvious, more experienced option that isn't unfit.
I think the only way you could make it a little bit more stronger, or a little bit stronger, is if you put Fernandes on that right-hand side, which he has done occasionally, and move a Fred or a McTominay into the middle. Yeah,
my team is quite similar, slightly more rotated than yours. I have gone Dubravka as well, because again, when else is he going to get a game? I've switched up that back four a little bit. I've gone Wan-Bissaka, because at some point Dillo's got to get a rest. I know
he's suspended against Fulham, and so did you see him getting a rest now? When he's not playing at the weekend?
Maybe. I do, yeah. I don't know. I just think that we're going to make some changes.
He might do it, because he might think, I don't want to throw you in for the Fulham game when you've not played for ages. So maybe he'll give him, or he might even just give him 45 minutes and go, listen, just have a run out, and then you're going to start, obviously, at the weekend. Yeah,
and I've gone Maguire and Lindelof, because, again, maybe Martinez could do with a bit of a break as well. He looked a bit scrappy against Villa last time. I thought it was one of his poorer performance, probably his worst performance for United. It was still only a 6 out of 10, but he's been so much better than
nines,
this season.
All season.
So I've gone with Maguire and Lindelof in there. I know they're not the most sort of awe-inspiring partnership, but they've played a lot of games together, and they've won a lot of games like this together. Then again, rest in Shaw, Malacia. I've gone Fred, McTominay and Fernandes. I keep saying it, but it's almost like a faithful old sort of midfield three, that isn't it, that we know. And I brought Martial in, other than you, that's the same front three. I think Martial, if he's fit, has to play, and I think he makes more difference than any of those sort of midfielders in terms of how likely we are to score. Defensively, I'm not particularly confident, but I think we're much more likely to score with Martial on the pitch. Let's have a look at the opposition then.
Okay.
We know about them because we've literally just lost to them. Someone I want to highlight is Ollie Watkins, who... He didn't score, did he, at the weekend?
No, he didn't.
He was an absolute nightmare for Victor Lindelof. Do you know, occasionally Lindelof has one of those games where you go, you're just chasing that striker around for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Watkins, especially for the first goal, just ran Lindelof ragged. He couldn't get near him, couldn't get a touch on him. There was a point where he was playing the ball into the box. For the third goal, Lindelof again, he's marking him, he stood with him, running with him, but he's 2 yards away from him because he's scared of him. I think Watkins is one to watch, definitely, don't you?
Yeah, no, Leon Bailey's obviously another one, but I get what you mean with Watkins. He's just an awkward player to play against. He's got a bit of pace about him. He can cause you problems. And he was winding me up, Watkins, because he spent so much time on the floor moaning. They all did, and then Leon Bailey takes to Twitter to moan about Martinez fouling him, whatever. It's just proper pathetic.
Shut up, yeah.
And they might have got away with it a little bit at Villa Park, especially with Anthony Taylor doing his "I'm not really a United fan" routine, so I'm going to give everything against him. But I don't expect him to get away with it at Old Trafford, and plus I don't think we'll give him as much space and opportunities as we did at Villa Park.
In terms of those opportunities, just a few stats from Watkins. So in 14 appearances this season, he's only got 2 goals. He's got 3 assists as well, but he's got an XG, which I know you hate, but it just gives you an example of the sort of
I don't. Listen, I get it. It's part and parcel now, isn't it?
He's got an XG of 6.1, so which means he's massively underscoring. But it also means I think Harry Kane's is only 7, so it means he's getting into a lot of good goal scoring areas, which just even if it's not going in the back of the net. Oftentimes that will make a defence scared. It will make a defence nervy. It make Lindelof drop off.
Do you not remember last time we beat him at Old Trafford? I think was it the Erik Bailly phenomenal performance? Then?
Yeah, I think so.
Can't remember, but I remember Jack Grealish putting a couple on a plate for him.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it was a couple of years ago, and he just missed sitters.
Yeah, he's not the best finisher, but he gets in really good areas, and especially when, like I said, you've got a defender like Lindelof and Maguire who play on confidence, and they play sometimes on fear when they're on their worst day. Someone like Watkins, I'm worried is going to be a big distraction for them. So, with all that being said, what's the score going to be? Are United going through to the next round of the League Cup?
Yeah, I think we'll do. I do. I think Erik Ten Hag, what a reaction. I think he's fuming about the weekend.
He will be.
And I think we'll turn him over.
Yeah.
I'll go, in fact, not turn him over. I'll go with the reverse of that score, and I'll go 3-1 to United.
Nice. I think we'll win as well.
Yeah.
I think surely, and I say surely, but I don't even mean surely, United can't be allowed to lose 2 games in 4 days to Aston Villa.
No, that's ridiculous.
That can't happen.
So
whatever you have to do, shut up shop, get one early on, foul people, get more bookings, be disruptive, get to play them at their own game, whatever it has to be. We can't see another performance like we did on Sunday. There has to be a change, and I'm sure there will be.
Don't forget as well, Bruno Fernandes coming back into this side is massive.
Massive.
And I expect him to be back in as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Man United. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go 1-0. Because our defence has been pretty good, but we're not scoring many goals at the minute, so I think that'll continue. 1-0 Manchester United. Give us your score prediction in the comments. Let us know what you think of Ronaldo. Let us know what you think of Aston Villa beating us at the weekend, and we're playing them again like we seem to do every single season at the minute. And give us your predicted 11s and scorelines as well. And if you haven't
as well
already, you can see it across the bottom of the screen there. Send in your pre-match predictions on video to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. Film yourself going, hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. I think it's going to be 2-0 Manchester United. Martial's going to score. Oh no, look, there's my dog. Send that to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. The link to that email address will be in the description, so you can click it and send your videos there. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Jay. Make sure you check out the Scotty and Motti podcast. We'll see you in a bit.